And what a race this promises to be. We've got two of the three fastest in Europe in this age group in the same heat together. Elliot Vermeulen of Belgium and Aloy Abraham of France, both of whom have run 3:38 for respective national junior records. Oyen of Norway also in this one. He's run a 3:42 this year. So too is Sanchez of Spain and Palencia of Spain as well. They're very, very evenly matched. Cronin of Ireland is a 3:43 performer. It's the top four plus four non-automatic qualifiers across the two heats. Cronin, Sverg, Oyen. Now Vermeulen, national champion over 3,000 metres. 6 wins this year, the third fastest in Europe with that 3:38.65. Looking cool and calm in the shades. Not sure he needs the shades, it's quite overcast, but I think there's a bit of a thing going on there. Oliver Patton's got a 3-second PB this year, down to 3:43 from 3:47. Makopola of Italy, Palencia and Sanchez of Spain, both 3:42 this year. There's virtually nothing to separate them. Sanchez won the national indoor title, but they've both run 1:49 indoors. Graf, National University's bronze medalist, the German, and Abraham on the inside, the second fastest in Europe, just a couple of hundredths literally ahead of Vermeulen. They're both on 3:38. The fastest is Håkon Moberg, who is going in the second of the heats alongside the very talented Czechia athlete Philip Tool. Anyway, this is equally competitive. Multiple national under-20 record holders going toe-to-toe, and only 4 guaranteed a place in the final. Well, this is a small field for 1,500 metres. When you watch a Diamond League, we're used to seeing 15, 16, sometimes ludicrously even 17 or 18 athletes in the same race. It's a compact field, but very competitive. We've already seen all sorts of elbows into the base of the back. And Abraham on the shoulder of Sanchez. There's nothing to separate the two Spaniards, and just when it looks like it's going to be slow, Graf of Germany has decided to go to the front and at least bring a modicum of respectability to the early pace, perhaps deciding if it goes into a 200-metre burn-up at the end, he's not in the best position to respond. But the standard in men's 1,500 metres in Europe in this category this year, Phil, has been really, really good.
Yes, it's been absolutely terrific. I mean, we're going to see Moberg and also Philip Tool in the second heat. But I think, as you were saying, Yannick Graf has done absolutely the right thing. He's a 3:46 man at best, so there's quicker men in there. And if it came down to a finishing sprint over the final 250, 300 metres, he might not be part of the mix. But Graf has decided, let's stretch it out. Let's see what people have got. Let's see who's come here fit. Abraham, of course, we know, is the second fastest man in Europe in the under-20 ranks this year. 3:38 man back in third. We know he's got a cracking turn of speed. The Pole as well, a bit further back. Hungary doing well at the moment as well. So they're coming through. 2 laps to go.
Yes, we'll get the splits when they come round for the second 400. The first was 61, so still Graf leading at the moment. Zerbeck, the national indoor champion, has got good strength. He's in second, 59.5 for that second lap. So marginally quicker, and Vermeulen now coming wide on the outside, and Oliver Patton of Great Britain, who competes for Oklahoma State, he's got up onto the top pack just to make sure he's in pole position to respond. They're all beginning to queue up, and Vermeulen looks so cool and calm on the outside.
He does indeed. He's coming through very strongly, and this is a pace in which he's going to be very comfortable. It's 3:45 pace at the moment, but it's going to get a lot quicker over that final lap. And now they're all starting to bunch ahead of the lap. Last lap coming up, and they're hearing the bell. Patton also in there. Abraham's got himself very well placed at the 4 of this leading group.
2:47-ish at the bell. Only 4 guaranteed to be in the final. Vermeulen looks perfectly poised there. That was around 60 seconds for that third lap. Sanchez, Oyen queuing up. Abraham, at the moment, is boxed on the inside, but we have a breakaway of 5. Cronin, the Irishman, is desperately trying to close the gap here. It's Oyen now in 5th, and Abraham needs to be very careful here because he's got Cronin behind him, and only 4 guaranteed to be in the final. Oliver Patton looks over his shoulder. Abraham's having to work really, really hard for this. I tell you what, how good does Vermeulen look? He's basically jogging. Brilliant running. Vermeulen, Oyen, we've got Abraham there as well, and Sanchez. 57.2 for that last lap. Yes, of course, it was likely to be fast because they were running within themselves for the first 11 or 1200 meters. Vermeulen basically jogged across the line. That was a hugely impressive piece of qualification. He was coasting.
Yes, and if you looked back at the first couple of laps, he was well off the bat. There was a certain Ingebrigtsen aspect to all of that, wasn't there? But Vermeulen, what a terrific performance and what a terrific turn of speed. He knew exactly what was in the tank and he knew exactly the capabilities of his opponents. It was really just a case of everybody else running for the other 3 qualifying positions.
Elliot Vermeulen basically walked his way to a 57-point last lap. He was a mighty impressive qualifier for the 1500 final. 4 more men about to join him, guaranteed, and there are 4 non-automatic spots as well.
If anything, I'd say this is even more loaded than the first heat. You've got, of course, Moberg there, the European leader, 335 man. You've got Dybal, you've got Tool, you've got Katovic in there. This is an absolutely terrific heat in terms of depth. So on the outside, Frank Buchanan, the Irishman. Just 18 years of age, 344 man. He could well have a chance of getting into the final. Kumpalainen, Finland, of course, going to get major support. Katovic, European under-18 silver medalist and a heat winner yesterday. Then we got Zachary Dunn, 331 this year. Gonzalez of Spain, 343, perhaps the most modest of the 3 Spaniards in these heats. Pavado, Zanini of Italy, but we've just stopped at Moberg, the Norwegian national senior champion in a very classy competition, even if it didn't include Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Philip Tool as well, European under-18 champion. Ebre Fernandez of France, and on the inside, a second extremely good Norwegian, Andres Dybal. Well, Berg got the blue shaded bib on his chest to indicate European leader. We've got Tool, number 4 on the list, Dunn, number 5, and Dybal, number 8 on the list. So we've got 4 of the top 8 in Europe here. And it's Zachary Dunn who's gone to the front straight away. Well, keep an eye on the split times. We went through 800 metres in 2:01. That'll give us a fair indicator of how things are going to look at the finish line. So it's Tool. Well, Tool, we know, if you were watching the European Athletics live stream from Banska Bystrica, Tool has got a really good turn of speed over the final 300 metres. Dunn, Buchanan up there as well. So just looking around, this is a little bit slower than the first heat. It's unofficially going through 300 metres in about 50 seconds. Well, we saw some of the women in the 1500 metre heats yesterday going through not much slower than that. So they're taking their time. This is really playing into the hands of the men who've got quick finishes like Tool and Moberg.
68 seconds for that first lap. Phil, for anyone in this field, I know it's easy for us to say this from a commentary point of view, if you know you haven't got a lightning quick finish, but you know you can absolutely run a 3:43 or a 3:44, get to the front and make it an honest pace, because there are 4 non-automatic spots here. Nearly everybody in this field, in fact all of them, are capable of breaking 3:45, and anything around 3:45 denies anybody from the first heat a non-automatic spot. So they could, if they'd run a different pace, they could have got 8 into the final. As it is, it will probably only be 4.
Highly likely, yes, but it's Toole and Dunn up there at the moment, looking for Moberg. He's tucked in at the back. He's quite badly boxed at the moment. And Dybau's up there as well. They've got to come a long way around with 2 laps to go. Well, just coming up to the 800-metre mark. This is going to be significantly slower than the first heat. This is pretty slow running. 2:17. When you compare that with the first heat where it was 2:06, that's 11 seconds slower.
Somebody needs to tell these guys that you've got to be brave in a major championship if you haven't got a lightning quick sprint. Now the race has suddenly kicked into life. Toole is still holding the inside line. Zach Dunn is in second place, but flying round the outside is Fernandez, the Frenchman who's run a 3:43, and we are about to see some serious last lap fireworks as Katovic comes round to take the lead. This is going to be a very, very fast last lap. It's got to be.
Well, Katovic in front, and we know what he can do. We've seen him over 1,500 metres and 3,000 metres in Banska Bystrica at the European Under-18s, and he can really tear the guts out of the race. Buchanan getting up there, he's doing very well. There's going to be some good men who are not going to make it to the final. Dybau and Moberg out in lanes 4 and 5. They're coming around the long way, but Katovic, Pounce, he's doing this exactly right with 200 metres to go. Now it's the Frenchman, Desiree Fernandez, who's getting up there. The 2 Norwegians trying to come the long way round. Toole doesn't look as though he's got much in the tank here at the moment. It's 5 men who are away. Moberg starting to stretch out. He's got all the tools in his armoury. Dybau up on his shoulder. They're moving away. Katovic now knows exactly what's going on, and Toole gets through on the inside. But we've lost some very good men there. Men who, frankly, mistimed and misjudged the race, as you were saying. So Dybau takes it. It's a Norwegian 1-2. Moberg, well, a 3:35 man. He knew exactly what he needed to do. Katovic, the one man who I say can take great credit from that race. He pounced just before the bell, pulled the rest of the field apart, and made sure he got a place in the final. It'll be 2 finals for the Serbian, who's looking a very strong contender for medals, certainly over 3,000 metres. Toole trying to get through on the inside, just nudged him as Katovic was edging across, but didn't need to worry in the end. Well, that's Kampelainen, the Finn. He's not going to make it through to the final.
I tell you what, Toole was living very, very dangerously there. I did not think he was going to find a gap on the inside. It's all smiles now. Well, Tual was giving Katovic a little tap on the back there. I think they're both relieved. Disappointment for Kumpelainen, who didn't make it, but the tactics were wrong in that race.
Absolutely, but let's look at the men who did go through to the final. Dybau, Moberg, Katovic and Toole. And of course there was big smiles between Katovic and Toole. They know each other very well from 12 months ago at the European Under-18s when they were battling for gold and silver over this distance.
Vermeulen was such a confident qualifier, jogging his way round to 57 in the first heat. Oyen just behind him, but what a final it's going to be. Ignore those times of 3:55. Dybau and Moberg will be right up there. They ran a 53 point, but they had to because the pace was so slow in that second heat.
So this is the men's 1,500 metres. 12 men on the start line, and this is looking like it's going to be an absolutely cracking race. From the inside, British under-20 1,500 metres champion Olivia Patton. Guillermo Sanchez took the Spanish under-20 title indoors. the very good Alois Abraham, bronze medalist last year in the under-18 championships. Man who won this title in Banska Bystrica, Aldin Katovic. Now Hakan Bomerg. He got a gold this morning in the 3,000 metres. Philip Tool, very, very good Czech runner. Schrebeck, two-time under-20 champion, and Oyen, second of three very good Norwegians, 5,000 metre champion 2 years ago. The man who impressed both myself and Rob Walker in the semi-finals, the first round, Elliot Vermeulen. Marco Coppello, he's the Italian champion. Sean Cronin, 800 metre champion for Ireland in the under-20 ranks. He's very quick indeed over the final 400 metres. And on the inside, Andreas Deibel, fastest man in the field. Hakan Moberg, a 3:35 performer, won the Norwegian Senior Championships. Abraham Vermeulen, both 3:38 performers. So it's Deibel trying to edge his way to the front. Hungarian Schrebeck up there as well at the moment. Tall Hungarian, second at the moment. And it's the Briton, Oliver Patton, who's settling into third. So it's Coppola, who's worked his way to the front at this early stages of the race. Schrebeck. Well, very, very slow pace indeed. Once again, as we've discussed, you'd have thought that some of the slower men, some of the men like Schrebeck, would actually just take this out quicker, give them a fighting chance. Let's just see what people have got, especially someone like Moberg, who's already had a really challenging race this morning.
And the whole field played into Moberg's hands, because when he got to the bell, it had been so slow, he just floated away from the field. I think he ran a 53 point on the last lap. So if it's slow, it absolutely plays into Moberg's hands. And do you know who else I'm looking forward to seeing? Is Philip Tool. I know it's a big step up from under 18 to under 20. He was so dominant last year. He's at the back at the moment. Is he struggling, or is he biding his time next to Vermeulen?
Well, Vermeulen now moving up carefully and gently on the outside. Now, we were very impressed with what we saw with Vermeulen in the heat. He ran a tactically astute race in the heat and then just unleashed his speed over the final 150, 200 metres. He's very, very quick. On paper, number 3 in Europe this year. So it's Coppola as they go around 700 metres in 1:55. It's fairly slow.
Watch Vermeulen on the outside with Tool tracking his every move. They are beginning to think about the long burst for home, and all the way from the back. Now the race proper begins. Oyen coming up, Moberg coming up. Now we got a proper race on our hands.
And Katovic as well getting up there. Took the silver medal in Banska Bystrica behind Tool 12 months ago. I think I might have said he'd won it in the introduction. And now Vermeulen. Now it's starting to really crank up the pace. Moberg at the front now. So they're coming round, just under 500 metres to go, coming into the home straight for the penultimate time. Moberg at the front, but Vermeulen lurking dangerously there as they come up to hear the bell. Also Oyen, the second Norwegian, coming around the outside. Now Coppola, the early leader, drifting back. Patton also boxed badly. I think they're out of it. But it's Moberg versus Vermeulen at the front. Vermeulen moving up. Now, Moberg, it was a slow 3,000 metres, but he's still got 7.5 laps of the track of racing in his legs. It doesn't look like it, though. He's responding. Now Vermeulen. Vermeulen's attacking with 200 metres to go. Moberg responds. Nimble in third at the moment. I don't think they're going to be involved in the battle for gold, and now Moberg just moves away with just over 100 metres to go. He's got daylight between himself and Vermeulen. It's Moberg on his way to the second gold medal of the day. Nimble just edging his way back. It's going to be Norway 1 and 2. Moberg adds to his 3,000 metres gold medal, a 1,500 metres title. Well, he was the favourite. He was 3 seconds quicker than anyone else in the field, and he had a wonderful set of gears to go through and leave the rest trailing in his way. 3:47, forget the time. Nimble coming home for second place. Thought Vermeulen was going to challenge harder down the home straight, but Nimble instead got the better of the Belgian for silver. But all credit to Moberg coming home and taking yet another gold medal for Norway.
What a marvellous double for Moberg. Nimble ran really well to deny Vermeulen the silver. Great race, finishing off in 51 point as well.
Well, the bar's now up to 189. We didn't see it, but Ona Bonnet got over 189 on the third attempt, 186 on the third attempt, and that meant that Obeta and Sludzinska had to settle for equal fourth place, having been flawless up to and including 183.
I think there was more there if he needed it. 51.5 on the last lap. Nimble really did well to outdip Vermeulen. Moberg looked like there was a lot more there had he needed it.
I'm just wondering, here's a thought. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, struggling for fitness. Will he go to Tokyo? Well, there's Moberg coming home in front in the 1,500 metres. Nimble taking the silver, Vermeulen the bronze.
Håkan Moberg, absolutely superb for the title. Nimble the silver. Vermeulen outdipped, but at least he is on the podium.
Abraham, one of the favourites, having to settle for fourth. Katovic, the Serbian, in fifth, the under-18 silver medalist.
Hi, I'm Manu Duplantis. Subscribe to the European Athletics YouTube channel down below.